Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to cover how to force dogfights in the game of War Thunder. Now, normally a lot of top tier gameplay is been drowned out by the Fox 3s that you see normally. I kind of want to let this clip kind of sit for itself currently. I dodged like 5 missiles in like 10 seconds because I formed within a area where there was multiple enemies, and you can see here that I shot one down while almost hitting the ground there. But there are a lot more that are actually in this area, but because I was able to kind of survive for a solid couple of seconds while everything was happening around me, my teammates ended up clearing the rest of the few kills. Now, in order to force dogfights, especially at top tier where we're at right now, it is hard to kind of get in a scenario where you can kind of just force a 1v1, and it takes a lot of practice to kind of push a position without knowing that you are just going to die. And you'll see here where I overestimate that I can kind of control an area with my two teammates while only seeing a couple guys. Well, if you just saw a second there, I checked and all of my team essentially, besides the two dudes, are dead. So now we're pushing an area where there's multiple people that are now shooting at me once again. And I'm kind of just going to gun it because at this point, even though I'm staying low to the ground and dodging these missiles, I'm kind of out of options. There's really nothing I could do. There's already a Sukhoi on me. The MiG-29 kind of pushed over and I got that F-15, but now I'm trapped. I have kind of taken a high position over this Sukhoi, but because of where I'm at and how many enemies are left, I'm kind of just stuck and I'm going to die. I dodged that R-73. I don't know how it didn't just gate lock me there after being tracking on me for a while, but I think it was just because I was side aspect. Well, here's the Mirage, and spoiler, I died to this Matra. But I ended up getting a PL-12 out, and these missiles are extremely maneuverable, and I ended up killing him too before the game ended. Now, you can do this in a lot of vehicles. Today for you, I just have the J10 footage for you today, and trying to force these dogfights. The main aspect that you want to do when you're trying to force dogfights at top tier is kind of just stay alive. Like, if staying alive is your first priority and not trying to kill enemies immediately when you see them, you will survive way longer. Like, as much as it's good to kind of take out people as fast as possible, it's a good habit to do. In situations where top tier, if you already have a missile out on you and you're trying to take out this guy that either fired at you or a guy that showed up, more than likely you may miss time, like how far away that missile is actually on you, or if it's like a magic or an R-73, then most of the time, if you don't deal with that missile right away, you're just going to die. So if you focus on the things that are potentially about to kill you first before ending up in the dogfight, or if you try and like set up your positioning before you even enter that dogfight, you're going to be way well off compared to if you are just trying to kill the first person you see, which is what a lot of people do in top tier, because the faster that you kill enemies, the less enemies that are going to be shooting at you, and therefore that's how these games kind of are always one-sided, unless both like amounts of people kind of die at the same amount or same pace as the other team. Now right here, I see that this Sukhoi is actually still trying to lock me up even though he's dead. He wants to get that revenge kill, and I didn't see that this Sukhoi was behind me until last second. So I chaffed like crazy, and now I made a kind of error. If he just shot another R-73 here, I probably would have died. But I think he shot an R-73, and manage to flare that off and get behind him, and then he's dead. Like, these dogfights, even though, you know, it's very, very maneuverable aircraft against very maneuverable aircraft, these missiles just don't care. They're going to kill you within very, very fast paces, and most of the time, these dogfights at top tier last like less than 5 seconds. And in order to kind of make sure that you're on the winning side of these dogfights, you have to set up and you have to see what the situational awareness of the entire battlefield is. Right here, I see that this F-16 doesn't see me, and instead of going for him, I really, like I said earlier, kind of want to help my teammates and kind of take out as many people as possible. So if those F-15s and stuff were heading towards me, I was going to engage them. But now I see I don't really have any many teammates over there, and if this F-16 kind of comes back into the battlefield, which I think he's going to do, then he'll just be behind me when I engage these F-15s anyways, so I chase after him. And he still doesn't see me because right now I have my radar in the like helmet mounted display mode where I can just kind of control it, and I can choose if I want to lock it. So he actually doesn't see any RWR warnings until just now when I fired that missile. So by the time that he realizes that I'm behind him, he's already dead. Once again, choosing the different ways that I am engaging these people. Now, if you see on my RWR here, you'll see that there's an F-15 tracking me from the front. I know he sees me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try and hide a little bit until we get closer. Because right now, I have one PL-12, I have one PL-5E, and that's it. He could have probably about up to 8 missiles at this point. I don't think he does, but if he does, I'm at a way, way, way less advantage than him because he could just spam these at me if I were to blatant push him right now. So I'm going to let him try and get closer to right now where we see each other. And now I'm already in a great position. He's really fast trying to chase up to me, and although there's another F-15 that I see on my RWR, I'm already behind him. And I could have used my PL-5 here, but look at the maneuverability of these PL-12s. The PL-12 is kind of how the AMRAAM used to be when you first started to play like the Seek and Destroy update. The AMRAAMs were actually really good, and honestly probably what they should be, because the A and B variants of the AMRAAMs were actually way more maneuverable than the C and D variants. The C and D variants are just longer range, and of course they have some capabilities with their seeker heads that allow this. Now the last guy I locked up with a lock here, he kind of just took off and was engaging our teammate here, and our teammate kind of overestimated his ability to dodge that missile and hit the ground there. But once again, I'm already behind this guy because I chose not to engage him immediately when he took off the runway. So now he has to turn around, and because he turned around, he lost so much energy. I got behind him, and I just fired a basically magic that's he's not going to be able to flare from a rear aspect position. So I ended off the game with like 6 kills here. And that's really all you have to do. If you're in an extended dogfight and top tier, you're more than likely going to die. But if you're in something like a J10, an F-16, even stuff like an F-15, or of course a Gripen, you'll be able to kind of continue with an extended dogfight. But for most scenarios, if you're not in like an endgame position like that and you're trying to force dogfights, you're going to die in an extended dogfight almost guaranteed. So what you should be trying to do in top tier, even though it's boring, is trying to get behind the dude for a single second, shoot off a missile, whether that's your Magic, R-73, AIM-9M, whatever, and try and kill him with one missile before he ends up behind you or in a better spot where you're going to die by his team. If you are in an extended dogfight, then once again, setting up position and doing stuff like this where I see that this missile didn't kill this guy. So what am I going to try and do? I'm trying to once again go low, so that I'm able to get in a better position. And once again, I love these PL12s. Like, look at that performance. I shot that way off aspect and hit that guy perfectly. So yeah, that's basically all I have for you today. I really just wanted to showcase what I am thinking and what I am trying to do while I'm playing the game. And I'm in these situations where there's a lot of people at top tier. Now, I will forewarn you, there's not every single scenario in every game that you're able to force these dogfights, especially in different vehicles. Like the J10 and the Griffin kind of platform is a really easy vehicle to force these dogfights. But in other cases, like the F-16, which is a two-circle fighter, or even shit like the F-15, where it's a really big hunking piece of metal, and even though it dogfights well, it's really hard to actually kind of force those dogfights in general. So, once again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the skies.